Hello, good day everyone. Today I'll be teaching you how to configure a local area network on a packet tracer. Now we're talking about a LAN network, and as a networker you need to understand that if you're called to an IT firm or you're called to by a company and you're told can you set up a network for us, okay, the first thing you need to set up for them is a local area network so that they can communicate. Now, one of the things you need to consider when you're setting up a local area network is the number of devices that you're going to use on that network. So the company that you're going to work for is going to give you the information of the available users in their network, all right, and you are expected to set up a local network for them. We can also refer to a local network as a LAN. Today I'll be putting you through the steps of setting up a LAN network using packet tracer, so just follow me. Okay, the first thing we're going to need is a Cisco router, so I'll be using one of the routers here, all right, and then I'll carry a Cisco switch, then we collect some end devices. So for this network we'll be using 5 laptops, 5 desktops, all right. Now we are going to set up we're going to connect cables to each of these devices so that they can communicate. So the kind of cables you use to connect desktops to switches is called a straight through cable. So I'm going to use a straight through cable and I'll connect it to the fast Ethernet 0 and 1. All right, so that is it. Fast Ethernet 00 and gigabit 01. So now to configure your router so that an IP address, so that the router and the switch can communicate, so that your end devices here can actually communicate. Remember in our previous lesson I taught you guys about an IP address, and I explained the details about how important an IP address is for easy communication. So today we'll be using that IP address. We're using IPv4 IP address, and the IP address we'll be using is we're using a subnet of 24. So we'll be using an IP address of 192.168.1.network 0 prefix 24. All right, and okay, we'll be using .1.1 prefix 24. Okay, so now we're using a class C IP address. Take note of that. Now for us to configure these two devices, we need a system that has a console port. All right, so we'll get a laptop and then we get a console cable. We connect the console cable to our RS-232 port, and then we connect it to our console port of our router. We enter our laptop, we get to our desktop, and then we go to terminal, and then we open it. Now for this situation we say no. So very quickly I'm going to just set up basic configuration on this router, changing the host name and every other thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is to change the host name. So I'll call my host name NET-LAN. So I'll use the command hostname and I'll call it NET. All right, then I'll log into my line console. I'll say line console 0 password. Now for me, for preference, I don't like using Cisco as my password, but I like using a local user. But for this class we're going to just use password Cisco. In this next class I will explain to you how to create a user account. Okay, so I'll be using password Cisco, and then we use the login to save it. Login, So I'll enter my telnet, line VTY 0, and line VTY 0 to 4, and then password is going to still be Cisco, and then I'll log it in. Alright, I'll enter my auxiliary, line AUX 0. The password is going to be Cisco, and then I log it in. So I exit, I end it, and I save it with the command copy run start. So now the next thing we're going to do is to interface into the port that is connected to our router. So the port you can see here that is connected to my router is my fast Ethernet 00. So this fast Ethernet 00 port is what I'm going to assign the IP address of 192.168.1.1. So now I'm going to enter my fast Ethernet 00. So to do that, we need to go to our global config mode. With the command, we'll use config terminal. Don't mind my short form, my shortcuts. Okay, so now I'm going to say interface F0/0, and then I define an IP address for it. So IP address 192.168.1.1, and I'm going to be using, remember I'm using prefix 24, so therefore my subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0, and I press enter. So now the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to describe this interface. So I will describe it, and I'll say description, and I will say NET-LAN, NET-LAN 001. Alright, then the next command I'm going to use is no shutdown. So I will say no shutdown. The no shutdown command is what is going to enable this port so that it can browse. So you can see right over there that the light had turned green, and this one is orange, but with time to turn to green. So just give it some time and then it will come to green. So you can see the line protocol of interface fast Ethernet 0 changed state to up. So that tells you that communication is yet to come up. So now we're just going to save this our configuration very quickly. So I'm going to end it with the command end, and I'll use the command copy run start. Alright, so another shortcut is WRI, which is just for write. So I can write the command. So you can see right now the light is now green. So we're going to try to assign IP addresses to our end devices, so that from each of these devices they can now communicate among themselves. So we're going to do that with the IP address scheme of 192.168.1.1. So now I'm going to enter my laptop. I'll go to desktop. This can be a Windows PC, it can be a Mac PC, it can be anything. So now I'll just go to my network adapter, and I'll assign a static IP to each of my devices. So the first IP address I will start assigning from .10, because I like reserving some IP in case I'm having some servers and many other things. So I'm going to use .10 for my first host device. So I'll say 192.168.1.10, and I'll be using a subnet of 24. So my default gateway is going to be the IP address of my router, which is going to be 192.168.1.1. I don't have a DNS server, so I'm going to delete that and leave that blank. So that's all for this device. So the next one, I'll give it .11. So I'm going to come here, go to desktop, and I will assign it .11, 192.168.1.11, and I'll be giving it 255.255.0, and then the gateway will be the IP address of my router, which is 192.168.1.1. So I'll continue to the next one. 192.168.1.12. all right, 192.168.1.1, which is the IP address of my router interface. All right, I don't have a DNS server, so I'm going to leave that blank. All right. Okay, so now we have been able to assign an IP address to each of these devices. So now it's for us to now ping each of these devices. Remember, this is 192.168.1.10. This is .11, .12, .13, and .14. So we're going to start pinging. Let me confirm something. So we're going to just ping first of all from this device. All right, and I'm going to open command prompt. So I'm going to use the command ping to establish whether we have connectivity among these devices. So the first thing I'm going to ping is my gateway, which is the IP address of my router interface, so which is this interface we have over here. So I'm going to say 192 ping 192.168.1.1. all right, so you can see right here the ping was successful. All right, packet completed 100%, no data loss, 0% data was lost, and the packet was actually sent completely. So we try it again and we can establish we can ping that device. So the next one we're going to ping is this device right here. So we're going to ping it. So that is .11. So I'm pinging it. So you can see I can ping .11. So I'm going to also ping .13. I can ping .13. Now another way to actually know whether you can communicate is by simulating it. So I'm going to just run a simulation so that you can see how packet actually travels through a network. So now for this, I'm just going to get a message, and I'm going to attach it from here, and I'm going to attempt to communicate with this guy. So now I'm just going to just show you how it's captured. So you can see right there it gets to our switch. All right, it sends out an ARP to know the IP address, the MAC address of each device. Remember that a switch uses MAC address to communicate. So if it doesn't have the IP address, if it doesn't have the MAC address of each device, it first of all sends an ARP to use the IP address to discover the MAC address of end devices. So you can see that communication was successful, and that is very important. So that's all for today. All right, so that's all for today. I hope you learned a lot from this class, how to configure a local area network. All right, now this is just basic configuration of a LAN. There could be more complex configurations, okay, but in our next class we'll be looking at how to configure a WAN interface and many other things. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next one.